Good evening. This is Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. There have been unprecedented scenes today, and even as we speak, as thousands of people, many of them students, have gathered to protest at Chennai's Marina beach, demanding that the ban on the bull-taming sport Jallikattu be lifted. The Supreme Court had imposed the ban, saying it causes considerable pain on the bull. But the thousands who are fighting for the right of Jallikattu to stay say it's a symbol of Tamil pride and culture. Is Jallikattu about culture, or is it about animal cruelty?
Massive, unprecedented protests at Chennai's landmark Marina beach and across Tamil Nadu, from Madurai to Coimbatore to Salem to Tirunelveli. Spearheaded by students, the protests have been joined by techies, actors and politicians. The protesters are demanding the lifting of the Supreme Court ban on Jallikattu, the traditional bull-taming sport, which they say is a symbol of Tamil pride and culture. Some students resorting to an unusual way to push their cause. The protests have so far been peaceful, but there are worries about such a large gathering in the heart of Chennai. The police have tried to get the crowd to disperse, but to no avail. So what has prompted the students to come out on the streets and lead the protests?
What exactly has brought you here?
The fight for our tradition and for the Tamil culture.
We are creating the awareness and we are raising the voice against the Indian government.
India. The protests began last evening with about 3,000 people gathering at Marina Beach and camping there through the night. Student protesters met the state education minister and demanded that the chief minister speak to them and then put pressure on the centre to permit Jallikattu through an ordinance. They also demanded a ban on animal rights organisation, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals or PETA, which has lobbied hard to ensure that the sport is not allowed.
We have pushed the central government to do this. Regarding the ordinance, we believe the central government can bring in. We are currently evaluating whether we do have the authority to ban it at the state level, an organisation which has been recognized at the central level.
The AIADMK has said that the Chief Minister will meet Prime Minister Modi tomorrow to push for an ordinance. PETA has issued a statement saying, during illegal Jallikattu events recently held, both bulls and humans have lost their lives.
When I was Environment Minister, we had already issued a notification. The implementation of the notification has been stayed because it provides for animal care and as well as allowing the traditions and the sports to take place.
Call it a spontaneous development or politically motivated. The sheer numbers of protesters has stunned authorities in Tamil Nadu. Setting aside the legality of Jallikattu, many pockets of Tamil Nadu are on the verge of a law and order breakdown. The big question, will the centre have a change of heart? In Chennai, with camera person Edwin and engineer Suresh, Sam Daniel for NDTV. Hundreds of students who had gone home for Pongal holidays, a 5-day break, headed straight to the venue to join the protest, and they're in no mood to call off the protest even after the Chief Minister has promised to meet Prime Minister Modi and mount pressure for an ordinance to pave way for Jallikattu. Let's speak to some youngsters here. One reason why you think you need Jallikattu in Tamil Nadu?
Jallikattu is our culture, Jallikattu is our tradition, it's our identity. We cannot lose for anything at any cost.
The Chief Minister has said he would meet Prime Minister Modi tomorrow, mount pressure for ordinance. Still you will not call off the protest?
Never, never. We want to get the justice. Unless we get the justice, we are not giving up on this protest.
This protest will continue till we get proper justice.
Right. So call it a spontaneous development or politically motivated. Many pockets in Tamil Nadu are on the verge of a law and order breakdown. The big question, will there be a change of heart at the centre? In Chennai, with camera person Edwin, Sam Daniel for NDTV.
So is it culture or is it cruelty? These are incredible scenes that we're witnessing not just in Chennai today, but in many, many parts of Tamil Nadu. We'll bring you those pictures in a little while as well. Joining us tonight, Mohan Ram, well-known actor and film historian. Sharon Apparao, who's an art curator and a concerned Tamil citizen, joins us from Chennai as well. Senior journalist Kalyani Shankar here in the studio with us. And Raj Panjwani, who has in the past as a lawyer represented PETA, he joins us tonight as well. Mr. Mohan Ram, let me ask you first. I'm just trying to understand. You know, when the Supreme Court decided to ban Jallikattu, it said that animals may not have rights, but we can't negate their right to live. It said that you cannot import a Roman gladiator type sport to this country. The Supreme Court said that on one hand, and yet we see this very strong outpouring, this sentiment on the streets of Tamil Nadu, especially in the last 2 days. What explains this? What are you seeing that others are not?
What am I seeing that others are not? It's a very simple fact. It may not have been a sport played across the length and breadth of Tamil Nadu, but certainly was played in several pockets of Tamil Nadu. Where it was not played, people probably went across to other areas and watched it being played. Obviously, they did not see much of cruelty. Your title itself, culture or cruelty, no culture that accepts cruelty is culture. So therefore, I am not going to say it is culture or cruelty. It should be culture against cruelty, which is what I think the Tamils stand for. So we must realize one thing. This is something which Tamils are passionate about, like their Bharatanatyam or their Carnatic music. They seem to think that this is part of their cultural ethos, especially the agrarian part of Tamil Nadu, the rural part of Tamil Nadu, of which many of us in the city are not even aware of.
Mr. Mohan Ram, you're saying that there is no cruelty. You have the Supreme Court's order that talks about the considerable pain, stress, and the strain on bulls. That bulls in that situation are exhausted, injured, and humiliated. This is what the Supreme Court said. You have the Animal Welfare Board of India, which a couple of years ago said the bull's tail is bitten, it's twisted to induce pain. The bulls are poked with knives and sticks. There are irritant solutions rubbed into the bull's eyes, nose ropes that are yanked, leading to nosebleeds. That sounds cruel. That sounds cruel.
Excuse me, I agree. If these practices existed, and I am not saying they did not, they deserve to be stopped. The same PETA, working with the Rodeo Owners Association in USA, formed a set of guidelines and rules and regulations with which rodeo is going on in America, in Canada, in Australia, in Mexico, in several parts of South America. So why can't PETA sit with the players of this game, as they were to call it,
but it's or not the just about PETA. It's about the Animal Welfare Board of India.
Supreme Court.
As of 2013, it's about the Supreme Court of India also making a similar finding. And Sharon Rao, let me just ask Sharon Rao. Sharon Rao, why does this? What I found really interesting today was to see so many young people, students in particular, talking about Tamil pride and making this an issue of Tamil pride. What explains this phenomenon where people have come out in these, thankfully, largely peaceful protests today, saying that this is about protecting their culture?
I can't understand this, because to me, when I read this thing about the cruelty, I don't see this as something that should be supported.
But what explains it though? The fact that you have thousands of people out on the streets on this.
I'm not so sure what this entire thing is. This Tamil pride, I don't know. I think it's a little bit misplaced, because either they're misled or either they are being given a completely different picture. But if we are to believe the facts that you are giving us and that we've also read about, this is completely barbaric and it should not be allowed. And I don't understand how these people can come out and support this. I'm at a loss to understand this.
Mr. Mohan Ram, Sharon's calling it completely barbaric. She's at a loss to understand the sentiment.
Gladiatorial sports, even cricket is barbaric. You ask a man to stand at short leg, a ball is hurling at you at 100 miles per hour, and then you sweeping it it goes at 140 miles per hour. It hits him in a vital place. He's going to die. Nari Contractor, our own former cricket captain, was felled in the head. So do you ban that?
Sir, with due respect, there's a big
You
difference
take
between
safety
cricket
steps. During
and the kind of
Contractor's time, there was no helmet.
and what the Animal Welfare Board and the Supreme Court are saying that the bulls go through in terms of the pain that is induced, poking with knives, forced. I'll read more. Bulls packed so tightly that they can't move, that they don't get food and water for us.
No. In the Jallikattu, traditional Jallikattu, the men who attack or try to hold on to the bull, it is not even attack, that the objective is to hang on to the bull. Now, those guys are not armed. If they were, and if they are, or etc., ban it, control it. The way rodeo is being played today in the USA, I am giving you a live example.
That's what happened. It's been banned because this is exactly what is happening.
Why can't we have regulated Jallikattu?
Kalyani Shankar, you grew up in Chennai.
We should
Can you make sense of this for us?
Well, you see, as far as I have known, Jallikattu was always a rural sport. Okay, in villages, particularly in villages during the Pongal, which is called the Shankranti time. Lot of youth, particularly youth, because it's supposed to be a warrior sport in a way. You know, the man who wins the prize, there's a prize money on the horns of the bull. So this man goes and takes away the money, and then he sometimes even marries the daughter of the village headman, whoever owns the bull, something like that. That was what going on. But for the past 3-4 years, maybe even from 2009, this is taking a political color, which is what is quite surprising. You may remember last year, 2014, it was an election year in Tamil Nadu, and from January onwards, the atmosphere had started. And then even Jayalalitha somehow tried to control it, and they had issued a notification which fell flat before the court, and that didn't matter. But then this year, this is the first test for the new Chief Minister Pannirselvam, as well as the new General Secretary of the ADMK, Shashikala. But unfortunately for them, almost all the political parties, including the left parties, they all support this Jallikattu. That's all again because of the vote bank politics again, part of it, I am not saying all. And now what they are trying to do is to bring the Tamil pride. I am sure you may remember that Tamil pride is what they are talking about. You may remember earlier in Andhra Pradesh, NTR came to power on the question of Telugu pride. So the pride part of it also has come. They are talking of the culture as well as the pride part of it. So these two they are trying to do. But then what is worrying to me is the number of youth, students who are coming into the streets, and look at the Marina beach, my God, it's full of, it's like a sea, and from where they have come and how they have brought and who are all inspiring them or instigating them. I am sure political parties definitely have a hand in this. And what is surprising is again top stars like Rajinikanth, Kamala Hassan and Sarath Kumar, who was there just a few minutes ago. So they all are supporting this Jallikattu. So why they all come in support of Jallikattu, which has been there for years and which was not there for past 3 years? Why? What is the reason in this? There is definitely something more than what you see.
So you see a political push, and that is an interesting point, and I'll get Mr. Mohan Ram to respond to that in a moment. But Mr. Raj Panjwani, you have the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu who is coming now to Delhi tomorrow to meet the Prime Minister along with the AIADMK MPs. They are going to demand that the centre find a way through an ordinance perhaps to roll back the Supreme Court decision. Now it's not that easy, is it?
See, I look at it in a very simple fashion, and this is how we had presented our case before the Supreme Court. The argument was that what we are talking about is a domesticated bovine species, which by nature is quite happy grazing or occasionally having a fight on supremacy over another female species. But that is part of it. When we talk of Jallikattu, that is what we have placed before the court, that when we talk of Jallikattu, cruelty is inherent in it. You cannot have Jallikattu without cruelty. It is not just the question of twisting tails or putting chilies. What drives the bull to attack? Please, you must understand the basic fundamentals. It is only an element of fear. because by nature a bull, when it is threatened or put in a position, tends to run away. When it tries to run away and it can't run away and there is no way out, it is then the bull reacts and attacks. So the fear is the main component of any Jallikattu event. Now when we are talking of a fear, we are talking of cruelty. And cruelty per se is, there is no other method. Now if we compare this, when we are talking of cruelty vis-a-vis what? Vis-a-vis a culture which provides entertainment. So can cruelty be justified in the name of entertainment? There have been arguments which have been put forth that what about slaughter of animals? Slaughter of animals, it causes pain, but it is permitted under the act, under the law made by the parliament. But cruelty, which is in the form of fear, whether it is required, whether it is not required, or it is for the purpose of entertainment, cannot be inflicted until and unless it is for the benefit of the animal itself, like for example putting an injection, or it will advance the knowledge of science, which will be for the betterment of the health of the human species.
Okay, let me take what you're saying to Mr. Mohan Ram again.
Out the parameters of the law.
Yeah, and you're talking, it actually, Mohan Ram, comes down to a question of the law versus sentiment. And ultimately, the law of the land has to prevail. Therefore, is this not what is being demanded today? A clear contravention of a Supreme Court order.
What is being demanded today is a clear contravention of a Supreme Court
order. Mr. Mohan Ram, Mr. Panjwani, I'll just come back to you, sir. Yes, Mr. Ram.
I agree with you, it is a contravention. Therefore, the solution does not lie in just going to the Prime Minister and requesting him to pass an ordinance. It's up to all concerned to convince the Supreme Court that the learned senior advocate who spoke just now, his premise is wrong, that Jallikattu is based on instilling fear in the animal. Jallikattu is not about confronting the animal like in bullfights. It is about holding on to the animal as it runs. Now, it can run for a million reasons. You confine it in a space for 20 minutes and then open the gate, it will run out. So, it need not be fear. So, if that is the case, then where is the question of riding on the bull in rodeos? They hold it and then they let it open and then it jumps all over the place. Where does that bull get? It's a normal bovine animal grazing here and there. Where does the rodeo bull get its energy from?
You seem to be suggesting, I mean, you know...
that is permitted. No, please let me complete. Why is it that
rodeo
we
may
are
be a
not
bad
looking
thing.
at the rodeo shows?
It doesn't make this right.
It is not a bad thing. It is regulated. It happens in Australia, which is most concerned about animal cruelty and animal welfare.
Mr. Panjwani wants to come in there.
What about bullfighting in Goa that was also taken part of culture?
Mr. Ram?
What about bullfighting?
No, I mean, are you saying that everything that the Supreme Court found which was clear cruelty to animals, everything that the Animal Welfare Board has said, I mean, it can only be, you're saying that if this is what is happening to bulls, then don't do it. That is exactly what has happened. So obviously there is there is a great degree of cruelty to the animals. No, that is exactly what has happened is that is exactly what has happened is a conclusion that has been arrived at, in my opinion, in a fairly hasty manner. I don't think the case for the bullfight in its regulated, as I suggest, form has been presented by people to the satisfaction of the judges, to the satisfaction of the people. Now, even you, when you put your headlines, you are saying culture or cruelty. That means you have decided it is cruel.
No, but there is
I'm asking a question.
So much evidence to show that it's cruel.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough evidence.
Get experts.
I'm going by the Supreme Court of India's order, sir.
Get experts. I don't think Mrs. Menaka Gandhi is an animal psychologist.
May I just intervene?
Are you an animal psychologist?
No, it's not a question of Mrs. Gandhi or anybody.
No, I'm saying get experts.
Get experts.
Sir, I'm going by the highest court of the land, sir.
Veterinarians, expert veterinarians.
Yes, Mr. Panjwani, go ahead.
And they were ones who put in the affidavits. All the affidavits of the vets were there. We had photographs, not just limited to the chili and twisting of the tail. We had photographs. Then we had an expert who could explain the psychology of a bull as to why a bull reacts in Jallikattu. All that material was before the court, and it is only after going through all the experts'
that the court came to a decision.
It was neither whimsical nor a whim of any person, including Mrs. Gandhi.
Sharan Rao, you know, again, why do you think that this has been so intrinsically linked to the issue of cultural pride in the state?
You know, I think the Tamil people are very heroic, and they think this is heroic. They're missing the entire point of the evidence, which is about cruelty. I think somewhere they're deciding to ignore this, which I think is very sad.
But again,
what is actually sad is that law should.
Go ahead.
What is actually sad is that law should reflect the sentiment of the people. It should reflect the wishes of the people.
So people wish for a lot of things. The law has to rise above that. The law has to rise above what people wish for. People wish for a lot of, people wish, you know, not to pay taxes, you know, but
then
you know,
who
we have
decides?
to do it.
Who plays God? Who plays God?
That's why you have a parliament. But that's why you have a parliament. That's why you have a judiciary.
Parliament, yes. Yes, I will accept it if it's a parliamentary bill.
Kalyani
Not
Shankar,
if
last word.
Few people sitting in ivory towers sit and
it's
judge
a parliament which
a matter which is of
prohibited,
cultural
right?
consequence to me.
All right, so the Supreme Court doesn't matter to you, but Parliament does. Kalyani Shankar, last word. You seem to think this is driven by politics. But is there an element of genuine spontaneity here as well? Because you can't have such a large number of people only being mobilized by political parties.
No, I am not saying that they have been mobilized by that. I don't know whether you recall in the 60s when we had this agitation.
Madam, you implied, you said they were brought. You said they were brought. Nobody was brought.
That's why I'm asking her the question.
Yeah, in the 60s, there was this Hindi agitation. There again, the students came on the street, and somehow Nehru had to withdraw the order. So now this is the way that Tamil Nadu is reacting to anything which it doesn't want. You know, now it doesn't want the ban on Jallikattu, so it wants the ban to be lifted. And it decided that this is the way we should go forward to put pressure on the centre and the state government. And here, this is the first test for Paneerselvam since he has taken over. So he has to go out of the way in getting the
to show that he is doing whatever he can.
Not only that, you know, he is not stabilized so far. You see, nor is Shashikala. You might have seen that Deepa has emerged as another.
So in the middle of all of that, to have this crisis,
in the middle of all of that, this is happening. So, but one more thing, Nidhi, there is one more thing. You know, there is also a cockfight. You also have a bullock race. You have these other things which are also animals. So the country should
clearly it's a very emotional issue in Tamil Nadu, and that is why the Chief Minister is rushing here tomorrow. It's a story we'll continue to focus on tomorrow as well. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us tonight. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Goodbye.